Good evening. We would like to call the regular city council meeting in Holbrook, Arizona to order at 6:07 p.m. on May 25th, 2023. For roll call, everybody is in attendance, minus our vacancy. With that, we'll go ahead with our Pledge of Allegiance. It'll be led by Councilwoman Pack, and our invocation will be by Pastor Hollingsworth. Thank you for being here. If you can all please rise.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let us pray. O God, creator of all heaven and earth, we come humbly in your presence tonight, begging for your guidance. We ask you to help us today. Please come and let your wisdom fall upon us as we do your will as servants for the town of Holbrook. Give us clarity so that we can effectively work together as a team to develop solutions that are lasting answers for today and tomorrow's world. Bless us to be visionaries who find potential and opportunities in a time of change and uncertainties. Point our eyes to every positive outcome. Let these favorable results and development encourage every heart in this room. Bless our defenders of freedom, the state of Arizona, our nation, the United States of America. And bless all those who are present here tonight. For this is our prayer that we pray in the name of your sweet Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you very much. All right, moving on to item number 4, consent agenda. We actually have 2 agendas for the May 11th, 2023 Board of Adjustment meeting minutes, and also the May 11th, 2023 regular city council meeting minutes. Do I hear a motion?
I make a motion that we pass the consent agenda.
For both?
Well, it's included in
Okay.
there, yes.
All right. 2 seconds. That's a claim. So,
I think Mike was
I think Mike was
little
first.
bit-
Mike was a little early,
So-
okay. Nielsen, thank you.
All right, is there any questions about any of the agendas? I just have a quick one. At the time during the updates when we were talking about the charter review letters of intent, Mark Romo's name was not on that. Should we add that
True,
to?
yes, so I added it, it's in.
I know you
the-
added it to
yeah.
the minutes here. I didn't know if we need to add it to the minutes.
Well, it's
since it
kinda,
wasn't
I
talked
didn't
then, so-
have it at the time, so it wouldn't be accurate, right?
Okay, so.
I know, it's, yeah.
All right. All right, with that, we will, any other questions about it? We'll take it to a vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Item number 5, call to the public for non-agenda items. I see just the one. I see none. Item number 6.
Wait,
Oh,
Mr. Carbonell?
oh, sorry, Mr. Carbonell has one. All right, thank you. All right, this is for a non-agenda item for regards to the city code. Mr. Carbonell, if you will take your place at the stand and introduce yourself. I know we just kind of introduced you, but for the record. And then you'll have 3 minutes to address us.
Hello, Stephen Carbonell, resident of Holbrook, Arizona. So it's a pleasure to be back with you this evening. This time I typed it up. I want to thank you for all you do as a city council, all the time and effort you put into this town. And I'd like to address some things that I've noticed, and obviously the only reason that I do this is because we all have different perspectives on things. And if we don't share our perspectives, then some things could go unnoticed. I wanted to bring up the city code, the document. I've spent the last couple of weeks looking over it. And one thing that I wanted to bring up, I don't know if I'll get through it in time, but is it talks about the strict requirements and those kind of things of our buildings and land in Holbrook. It talks about what the definition of blight or blighted is, rot, collapse, crumbling, peeling paint, all of these things, weeds taller than 6 inches. And, but then it goes on to say that a penalty for not adhering to the aforementioned codes is a penalty of $150 or more, up to $1,500. A second penalty within 24 months is $250 up to $2,500. Now to me, some people might come in and be like, we need to enforce our code. And I think we need to enforce code. But as I was reading the book, it kind of came to my attention that maybe the code needs to be revisited, right? We talk about our Holbrook community and the lack of finances that are available to many of our community members. And if we wanted to follow code, and we had a code enforcement officer, according to code, they're handing out fines, right? Instead of looking after our people and saying, hey, this is what the code is. We need to have you fix this. You got 6 months. Let us know how it goes. Let us know if you need people to help you. I was talking to my wife today and I said, something that I want to start, and we'll see if I can do it, is a Holbrook Helping Hands, where we have groups of volunteers that can go around helping people that don't have the money to paint the front of their house, that don't have the money to take something to the dump. Maybe they just need a vehicle, a truck. But anyway, my point with all of that code is not necessarily to say we need to enforce code, right? It's on paper, so we need to do it. But more or less, we need to review code, find out what it's doing for us and our public, and address whether or not that's what we want to present as what we're requiring of our citizens and how we might be able to help them.
Okay, it's time.
Time, Steve. Thanks.
Thank you, Dan.
I know. I'll just
All right.
turn it off.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Carbonell. We will take that into consideration. All right. With that, we'll go into item number 6, calls of the public for agenda items.
I think did you miss someone? Wasn't Cindy going to speak?
No, hers is a
She on
written
here?
petition, so. For non-agenda item, so.
Oh,
All right, so with that, number 7, new business, the Charter Review Committee selection. In your agenda packet, we do have a council action form. I'll just read through it. So for the discussion, of course, I have to figure out which article that is. What is that, 16 amendments, section 16.02, charter review of the charter reads, the mayor, with approval of the council, may appoint a committee of 7 electors of the city to review this charter for applicability and content to best serve the city of Holbrook and its citizens at least once every 4 years. Elected city officials, appointed city department heads, and city employees are prohibited from serving on this committee. An ad was placed in the newspaper and on the city's website for the Charter Review Committee. There are 9 applicants: Richard Peterson, Kent Darris, Merrill Young, Robin Gonzalez, Mark Romo, Stephen Carbonell, Rebecca Slade, Connie McPherson, and Gretchen Herndon. The recommendation is consent to the mayor's appointments. So I was super thrilled to get 9 letters of interest for this position. It's nice having people come and talk. I know that we've got a lot of citizens that are very civic minded. We appreciate their willingness to serve. A charter review committee is not going to be a fun process, I'm sure. And we appreciate that it is a citizen ran committee. And with that, I would like to make the following appointments. I just did them in alphabetical order. Stephen Carbonell, Kent Darris, Robin Gonzalez, Gretchen Herndon, Richard Peterson, Mark Romo, and Rebecca Slade. And for the 2 that weren't on this list, we're still hoping that we can get them. We've got, with the general plan, we still have plenty of opportunities for more input on the general plan and maybe even a review of our codes. So with that,
I would like to ask, what brought you to this list?
yeah. So This is a list of citizens that I know care. I mean, Stephen Carbone was a perfect example. He's been coming to the last few meetings, Robin Gonzalez as well, Mark Romo. A lot of these are all community members that are out there, not just coming to the meetings, but you see them out there also serving our community. You go to an event, they're out there serving and volunteering in these events as well. So that is how I came to that. You know, it'd been nice to have all 9, but the charter states 7, and so that is how we came to that. So with that, we'd like.
I object to Richard Peterson and Rebecca Slade.
Okay. So we're gonna do this, we will, so it's not a vote per se, you can object. We'll do a consent to these 7, and we'll go with the majority. If there is not enough, then we will go from there. So with that, I will ask for a consent from the council for an aye for the 7 that I have named out for the appointment. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Nay.
Is that 3? Mike, I didn't hear yours, aye or nay?
Yeah, I would like to know, I was with these guys, and the reason why I would like to know your objections. I know Connie is definitely ill right
correct.
now,
Mhm.
but
Mayor, if I can, I'm sorry, can you repeat those names? It was kinda
Yes.
fast.
Stephen Carbone,
Okay.
Kent Darris, Robin Gonzalez, Gretchen Herndon, Richard Peterson, Mark Romo, Rebecca Slade.
Very good, thank you.
So, Councilman, so we'll have our discussion.
Were they letters of interest, or is it a personal?
Everyone
appointment?
brought in a letter of interest. These were all the names that were given to me.
so to me, I'm wondering why we're leaving off Merrill. I mean, he's a former mayor. He's been involved in our community for
Decades.
30 years as fire chief.
The reason why, and I do have a reason for that one, is because during the charter review, we will be discussing issues of the charter, and there is some concern right now that maybe the charter, we still are not quite in compliance. We're gonna look into that, hopefully we are. But if not, it would have been under when he was here, and so I think that'd be a conflict of interest.
Well, I think that's a stretch, having a conflict of interest.
Well,
I mean, that's not even close to a conflict of interest for me.
That-
we all
that's
have-
your,
we all
that's
have our
opinion, so.
opinions.
So,
Yeah.
the charter states the mayor appoints with the consent of the council. So, these were the appointees that I am recommending, and so you can not approve my appointments.
Well, and
But-
also the charter says may appoint a committee of 7. Is there any reason that the may, because that may is not a shall.
Correct.
um,
Well, I think 7's always, you want an odd number when you have a committee, that
Well-
way you've got a tiebreaker, just like we have 7 up here.
And we have 9 candidates, that's
Correct.
up.
However, one of them is out of commission for now, and I don't know when she'll be back.
Okay, the other, let me explain why I object to Richard Peterson and Rebecca Slade. Rebecca Slade, when the recall on Mayor Young came up a year or so ago, I had published a rebuttal from the paper's covering of that, of the reasons on that. And Rebecca Slade published on a social media page open to the public some very derogatory and false claims towards me as a person. So I have a big conflict with her. And then Richard Peterson was one of the ones that started the recall, and he and some other people also published, those things got published in the newspaper that were false statements towards the then Mayor Young. So I don't think we should have anybody on this committee or any other that have made false claims.
Thank you for your comments. Any other comments?
Well, there wasn't a false claim on any of that, but you could take it how you want it. But, so on Rebecca Slade, that's a personal issue with you. It doesn't affect the job she would do as a redoing the city charter.
I think it does, because I'm a sitting councilman. And the derogatory lies that were told. I have an issue of somebody who would publicly, in a public forum, make false statements. It's not a personal issue, it's a character issue on her part.
All right, so it's been noted, yes?
So if they're gonna be on a committee and Facebook posts are gonna get brought up, and when you're bashing the city council members, or city council needs to do this, and why isn't city council doing that, is that going to conflict with the charter review?
We will.
Working along with city council? I mean.
We
what?
will direct the charter to make sure they understand at this point, once they are appointed, they are representatives of the city. And to be mindful, just like we are, that we are under a code of ethics as well, they would be as well. And so that would be discussed with them in their role.
Well, and she has displayed a violation of a code of ethics from the beginning.
Well, she wasn't held to that standard at that time, so.
Well, we should have those standards.
Well,
If somebody sits on, just like with us, we have to have high standards to even run
Correct,
for
so, and you
city
have every
council.
right to not vote in
Question.
favor, so.
But these are
That's
the
right.
names that were submitted to her,
Correct.
so.
So, any other discussion? So we will go back to the vote then of the, not vote, but just to the consent. So again, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Nay.
Nay.
Okay, so with that, so we are saying the two that you would like to see removed are Richard Peterson and Rebecca Slade, is that correct?
Correct.
Is that the same for you, Councilman Nielsen?
I'm more interested that Merrill will be part of this committee. You know, you said that people that are interested in drivers in the community year after year after year, and Merrill has been one of those people. And so, I worked with Richard on this council for a few years, and I don't have opposition really to him.
So you're okay with leaving Richard on there, but what about Rebecca Slade?
I don't recall what she wrote.
So, but you're saying no to these 7, correct?
Yeah.
Those two.
So,
Those two.
so I'm
No,
asking
no,
council,
no,
I'm
no.
asking Councilman Nielsen.
So I just think that Merrill should be included.
Well,
And I can see why Connie is deathly ill, probably gonna have her liver replaced, right?
well, there'll be the same conflict that
Right.
Councilman Dixon said with Merrill Young, as there would be that same argument for any of these. And so, they're necessarily, what will happen if we can't agree with the 7, I'll recommend that we take it back to an ad in the paper to fill the other positions if we can't come to an agreement this evening with the additional.
Can we
Yes.
go with 5?
No.
No? Okay.
I would like to stay with the charter, recommending the 7. They'll say may appoint, but I don't want to, let's, vote verbiage in this.
And I'm willing to maybe keep Peterson on and have Slade replaced by Young.
Councilman Nielsen?
I'd be all right with that.
Councilwoman Pacheco, what was your concerns on the 7?
I would like to see Merrill Young, because he has always been
But who on here do you wanna see replaced?
well, I don't know Rebecca Slade, I don't know Richard Peterson. I mean, and I know Robin has made a lot of claims on Facebook that can be controversial and could possibly have a conflict. I'm not saying that her voice is not appreciated by some, but I do believe that Merrill should have a place on here. And I feel like it sounds a little bit more of a personal issue than it does a potential conflict with the charter review not being in compliance. I mean,
Well, I'm gonna
That's an
stand my
assumption.
ground on the potential legal issues that are at hand, and we will be discussing that at the June 8th meeting. I was hoping to do it tonight, but Manager Soltis pushed it back to June 8th, so we will discuss it then. And hopefully there's nothing, but if there is, then there would be a conflict. And so I am not comfortable appointing Merrill Young for that reason. So, we're back down to potentially, so are we okay with everybody except for Rebecca Slade? Is that what we come down to?
With replacement of Merrill Young.
Well, it won't be a replacement. At this point, you can not vote for Rebecca Slade on there, and we will go back. Where it's an appointment, not a vote. So that's the difference. This is not, so.
I understand that, but we
Yeah.
could solve this right now if we did that.
Correct, but I am not comfortable with that. So we will take it then back to an appointment then of Stephen Carbonneau, Kent Darris, Robin Gonzalez, Gretchen Herndon, Richard Peterson, and Mark Romo for the 6. Do I have a consent? Please
Well,
indicate.
I don't see how we can move forward with just 6.
We won't, the committee won't go move forward, we will go and place another ad for additional letters of interest.
Okay.
So we will have 7 moving forward. But if we can't agree on these 7, then, but if we can agree on 6, that keeps us moving forward at least. So if we can,
Wait, Mayor,
go ahead.
do you have to have a unanimous decision?
No, it just needs to be a
Well,
majority consent.
what I'm hearing, where we're at now is Councilman Dixon is the only one that really opposes Rebecca Slade. So you have one member that doesn't want a member on there, and the rest of them is saying they don't have a problem with her.
I'm not saying I don't have a problem, I'm saying I don't know her, because what the statement was made was that they are very involved in our community, that you see them out there, you see them at a lot of meetings, and I don't know either of those two to say whether I've seen them at meetings or not.
But you also don't have a decision saying, no, you don't want them on there.
I didn't say that I didn't want them on there, I'd say I'd like to see Merrill Young on
So.
there.
Okay.
And so with
be
that-
replaced with that.
Knowing that he won't be replaced, it'll either go with Rebecca Slade or we will go back to an ad. So
And-
that's what we're moving forward
And I
with.
have a motion that, because.
So it won't be actually a motion, but
Well-
I appreciate it though.
But
So-
Councilman Dixon is the only one that has an issue with Rebecca.
So let's go ahead and go back to the original 7 then, see if any votes change. If not, we'll modify it. So with the original appointment of the 7, Stephen Carbonneau, Kent Darris, Robin Gonzalez, Gretchen Herndon, Richard Peterson, Mark Romo, and Rebecca Slade. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
So, okay, so we've got 3 to 3. So that won't pass.
Well, you can't
Tyler.
vote.
Excuse me?
You're making the appointment, you can't vote. Right?
It
With
says
the
everywhere in
consent
the
of the
charter
council.
that says, correct, and that might be a good question for the attorney. Because everywhere else in the charter, when we talk on votes, the mayor has a vote.
She's always entitled to 1 vote, I think, Mike, but I'm not.
But it's true, I
positive,
mean,
but-
that may be a good question for legal. So,
Okay.
if I have that vote. So, we're back to nays. Do you want to, either way, I'm still gonna appoint and it's still, we won't be appointing the candidate you want. So, we're still back to
Well,
appointing
you handpicked
potentially
6, and you threw out the last mayor on no cause, and I think you're just afraid to work with him because of what you did to him.
Okay, so let's be careful what we get into up here. And so, I have
So what?
valid legal reasons, and so happy to discuss it with you, but this is not the appropriate forum right now. I was hoping to go into executive session tonight, but that's not happening tonight. And so, with that, I'm gonna stand my ground on that. I have nothing personal against Merrill Young, I really don't. He's a nice guy, he served well, but when it comes to the charter, there are some concerns with the charter, and this is a charter review committee. And if you wanna go into that, well, no, I won't get into hearsay, but I've had a couple of people approach me with some concerns as well. And so I'm gonna go with the knowledge that I have and just know that you don't have the same information that I have at this point. So,
Can stay in the paper and run a little bit longer to get more applicants that are more suitable to a vote?
I believe we can. If we can't come to a decision tonight, I think that's probably the only option we have at this point. So we can extend it for another couple of weeks.
So will we, ask these candidates to reapply?
Well,
or-
that's the thing. I think we keep them on their letters of interest are still there. I say they're still valid. And so that just gives us a couple additional options to choose from for our 7, and I'm comfortable with that. Is everybody comfortable with that? So let's extend it. You'll need some time to put it in the paper, so if we can, I don't know how quickly we get it in the paper.
I will, so I can do this. Tomorrow is the deadline, so I can get an ad together tonight, and it'll get in next Wednesday's paper and the Wednesday after that. Someone have a calendar, tell me what that is.
I do. So
So two ads in the paper, I'll put it back on the website.
if it goes in next Wednesday will be the 31st, so that'll be
Okay.
the first run in the paper. The second run would be June 7th. So our next meeting will be
June 8th.
June 22nd.
Isn't
So
it
you think it'll be ready by June 8th? Yeah, I guess we can, if
it
you're
could
done
be
by June
ready.
7th, yeah.
Yeah,
Because
right.
it's not like that, they don't. So yeah, we can put it on the June 8th.
I'll add to the June 8th calendar.
All right, thank you.
So I will keep in all of the candidates that have
Correct.
applied so far, and then just add the new ones that apply.
Correct.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sure, you're welcome.
All right, so that has been tabled for now. All right, moving on to item number 8, summary of current events. Just for my updates, I just want to say that volunteers are still needed for Old West Fest. Please contact Cindy Tafoya with the Chamber of Commerce for more information. I know they're teaming up with the fair this year, with the fairgrounds, and they've got big events, so they need more volunteers than they have in the past. I know they would love to have you out there. I also want to say congratulations to our graduating seniors. We wish them the best in their next chapter. I've got to work with quite a few of them this past year, and I'm excited to see where they go. And then as Memorial Day is this Monday, I just want to say a thanks to both our active and our military veterans who served our country through the years. And as we honor those men and women that have died in service, that we remember them and we take a minute to pay our respect to them and also to the families that sacrificed as they did as well. And with that, that is all I have. Councilman Dixon, do you have anything?
With 8th grade graduation today and high school tomorrow, I think there's been a lot of people out, a lot of people in town. Let's drive cautiously and not cause any problems on the road. And look forward to a lot of people being out during the summer and our splash pad and our pool being filled up with people. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Nelson.
Yeah, graduation, what a wonderful time to celebrate. But we have so many more people in town, we need to be careful. I noticed that I've been by this building, the Machuzik building, like 3 times. I think this is the 3rd party I've seen go there. How nice that it's being used for that. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Pacheco.
I've been driving around a lot and looking at the town and seeing how clean it's looking, especially in comparison to one that's quite close to us. I feel that it is coming a long way from where it's been. And I had lunch today over at Colonel Mustard, and it was definitely really good.
Yeah.
And it's very cute, and it adds a lot of little love to our town.
Thank you. Councilman Black.
I just have a few citizens complaining about the amount of cardboard we got piled up at the sanitation stuff, not only for fire, but wind issues. And there is a ton of cardboard piled over there, so they wanted me to bring that up, and I have.
All right, thank you. Councilwoman Pack.
I like our street sweeper, clean up the streets. Now we just need people to blow their sidewalks, the pebbles off their sidewalks.
Yeah.
But, so, yeah, it's getting cleaner, it's nicer.
Is there barefoot?
Yeah,
I'm
for
gonna
all the
run
barefoot
it.
society out there, which I think is
Runners.
2.
Yep, we appreciate it, so.
Andrew Farr always lets me know.
All right, thank you. City Manager Soltis.
Okay. Splash pad will be opening tomorrow at 8 a.m. It has a fresh coat of paint on it. Thank you, staff, for getting that done. The pool will be opening on Monday at 1 p.m. We were unable to complete several of the improvement projects due to supply issues. They have been rescheduled for the fall. Projects include tile replacement, concrete pad replacement, floor sealing, a new pool heater and filter, and a cover. However, some of the projects were completed. There are new gathering tables with umbrellas, new deck chairs, some tile work, and some new decking. And finally, I hope everyone enjoys their Memorial Day weekend. Please enjoy it safely. That's all I had. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tom. All right, item number 9, submission of written petition for items not on the agenda. We do have one from Cynthia Cerna on behalf of Hank Ash in regards to White Mountain Radio. Ms. Cerna, if you'll take the podium. Yes,
That'll be good.
I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll need one more. One more.
Hello, Mayor, City Council members. I do appreciate you guys very much for your time and what you do for our city. For those who don't know me, I am Cynthia Cerna, a lifetime resident of Holbrook. Just turned 60, so that makes 60 years here. I love Holbrook, it's my hometown, and I'm very dedicated to it. I'm here on behalf of Hank Ash with White Mountain Radio. He is the owner. White Mountain Radio, I've been working with them for 23 years, since 2000. So I'm here to ask about our transmitter, KDJI. So some of you, there is some flood papers that I gave.
They were
Soltis right there.
attached, so.
If you will pass those around and look. Since the wastewater department wastewater management was put in back there and the dike was put around it, KDJI has been getting flooded quite regularly. The last 2 years, major. So it took out KDJI off the air. KDJI has been on the air since 1955, big part of Holbrook. Harry Billy, it's now been a talk radio, one of our most popular stations. If it's off the air, that's the calls and complaints we get is for that station. It's been off the air now more than a year. We're on very, very low power, so we can keep our license, but you can't really hear it. So what we needed is a new transmitter, we got that, but why would we put it in the flooded area? We wanted to put it in the,
Nielsen, can you
in
pass
the
it?
waste management building. We've talked to Soltis and we talked to Randy Sullivan, we even went out there, Hank and I, and they told us, yes, there's plenty of room. We have to be out there because we have to run a cable to the tower that's out there. There's still a satellite tower that we need to be connected to. So we would do that ourselves, no cost to the city. We even signed a lease, as you see in this paper, or we had one wrote up. Then we went to Soltis to get that approved or to get it settled, and out of nowhere, they said that no, they didn't think they were gonna be able to do it now. We thought it was a done deal. So he informed us, no, that we could put our own thing out there. Even if we put our own thing and it's high, we still have no access to it when it floods. As long as that dike's there, I don't know for those who've been around here, all the water now goes everywhere else around the dike. And that floods that trailer, flooded, those pictures, everything's been flooding regularly. So it's been at least 3 times in the last 2 years. So I wanna know why. I called Mr. Soltis, left a message, I never got a call back. Then I came into the city and asked if I could see him, and he was busy and said I need to make an appointment. He said I tried. He was supposed to call me, get another appointment, I didn't receive him. I know he's a busy man, has a lot on his plate. I feel like this might have been a good idea, they were wanting to do this, but honestly, I feel like nobody wants to deal with it now though, that it's time to maybe get it done. Maybe, maybe too much is going on, that's my opinion though, only an opinion. I don't know what the issue is, I'm sure he can inform us. So that's what I'm looking at. Why, what happened? And why, I don't see why this wouldn't benefit Holbrook. Also, to be clear, I have sent my resignation to the radio. We don't have a station here no more, but I told them I would work on this. This to me is something important as a Holbrookian. This is something I feel like we need to keep just because it's a part of Holbrook and has been since 1955. Why would we not want it? You know, why would we not want to try to help it? And as a city, why would we not try to work with them and get it done? It, you know, it's my opinion.
Okay, thank you. All right, and so at the bottom of our request to address city council, I'm gonna read it. It says, any citizen of the city may appear before the council at any regular meeting and present a written petition. Such petition shall be considered and response given within 31 days in conformity with the requirements of the charter, the open meeting law, and other statutory and constitutional provisions for Holbrook City Charter, Article 2, Section 2.18. So thank you for bringing this to our attention. So we will get with administration and see if we can work out something there, if it be worked out with administration or if it needs to come back to the council. But it says here we need to give you a response within 31 days, so.
Okay, thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Okay, and with that, item number 10, adjournment. Do I have a motion?
I move that we adjourn.
All in favor? Aye. All right, motion passed. And we closing the meeting at 6:43 PM.